This is funny to see. One of Trump's kids, Eric Trump, went on the Fox News program hosted by Sean Hannity last night. And I have clips of both Eric Trump and his wife, Lara Trump, actually, the power couple of sorts, just really struggling to cope with the defeat, really defeat after defeat that the Republican Party is suffering. Trump losing, these interviews happening as Republican incumbents in Georgia in the Senate were also losing. And as the interview went on, you see that they are now starting to become vindictive in a sense. And in this first clip, Eric Trump says, seemingly acknowledging that they've lost everything, that the MAGA movement is going nowhere. But more importantly, Eric Trump threatens any Republican who today, January 6th, when the House and Senate convene to count the electoral votes, it may already be happening by the time you listen today. Eric Trump warns, we are going to have a list. Any Republican that doesn't help today to steal the election, you are getting primaried. Of course, this assumes that Trump will have any kind of power after he leaves office. We still don't know that. But here is Eric Trump.
Tomorrow's going to tell you a lot about the country because I can tell you, Sean, any senator or any congressman that does not, meaning on this side, that does not fight tomorrow, I'm telling you, will not, their political career is over because the MAGA movement is going nowhere. My father's created the greatest political movement in American history, and I'm telling you, they will get primaried the next time around, and they will lose if they don't stand up and show some backbone and show some conviction.
So there it is. Eric Trump threatening the political careers of any Republican who doesn't get in line, shut their mouth, or I guess open their mouth to support the Trump coup that is destined to fail. Imagine saying, by the way, this is really delusional. After losing the House in 2018, so Trump gets elected in 2016. Republicans lose the House in 2018, don't get it back in 2020. They lose the Senate in 2020, and Trump becomes a one-term president, which is, of course, not unheard of, but it's relatively rare. I mean, it's tough to remove an incumbent president. And Eric Trump has the audacity to say Trumpism is the greatest political movement in history. This is the type of delusion where narcissists don't realize when they have no leverage. That's a really important characteristic of very serious narcissism. And of course, Eric Trump was, I guess raised by, it's not really clear who raised these Trump kids. It's not clear Trump likes his kids that much, but at least in some vague sense, they were raised by Donald Trump, at least the idea of Donald Trump as their father. And Trump, much like his kids, they don't know when they don't have leverage. Very often they do have leverage. They are powerful people and they've been powerful really most of their lives. And there's no denying that. But even when they no longer have the leverage, they still think they do. And Eric Trump saying this is the greatest political movement, you've lost everything. Why are you assuming that you're going to continue having leverage or influence over the party? They might, but they might not. And then Eric Trump still claiming that there's just no way Joe Biden got all those votes.
No one believes that this guy got 80 million votes. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right.
Again, with the feelings. I thought facts didn't care about your feelings. I've heard that from the right for a decade at this point, but he just doesn't feel like Donald Trump really lost. So what do we do with that? I guess as far as they're concerned, you steal the election. And then the softball interviews with Trump family members continued last night on Fox. Eric Trump's wife, Lara Trump, also appearing. And hilariously, she is still being identified as Trump campaign's senior advisor, which, of course, should make us ask, what campaign are you talking about? That campaign ended 2 months ago. Senior advisor to the campaign. And she says, I truly believe Trump will probably consider running in 2024. What a strong statement, right? But talking about 2024 does implicitly concede that Donald Trump lost this time. So that's something, but she's still kind of careful not to say it. Take a listen.
Look, if he does not remain president for the next 4 years, I truly believe that he will probably consider running again in 2024. I believe he would win in 2024 by a larger margin of victory than he even did, than the more votes than he had in this election. But
so that's just really amazing. I mean, first of all, what conviction, right, Lara? I really do believe that if he doesn't get another 4 years now, he will probably consider running in 2024. To me, that means he's not running in 2024. That's what I'm hearing from the language that Lara Trump is using. But the coping mechanisms are very different for different folks in the Republican Party. There are those who are just abandoning altogether and pretending none of this horrible thing ever happened. There are those who are still insisting any second now Trump's going to be sworn in. In fact, I posted to my Twitter, you can see it. This morning, I posted a message I got today. I posted this message I got today, and people thought it was months old. Today, someone said to me, David, don't you realize Trump's getting a second term right now? Biden's not. So some people continuing to be in denial. And I know that there's just one cautionary mention here. I know there are people in my audience waiting for the big payoff where on January 22nd, all of these people admit they were wrong. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that satisfaction because on January 20th, 21st, 22nd, they will come up with some new thing and say it was stolen in this way and that way, and none of it is legitimate. So if you're waiting for that satisfaction, you're going to be waiting a very long time. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other protective gear for COVID-19, and they're giving my audience 20% off. S&H Masks is the company that I've personally been going to for face masks. I love and trust the products they sell, and that's actually why I reached out to them about being a sponsor. I've tried tons of different face masks this year, like many of you, and I still have not found a mask that is more comfortable or easier to breathe in than the washable cotton masks that they sell. It's made of a silky, lightweight cloth that feels great on the skin, has a convenient adjustable strap. They also have disposable cloth masks, which are really comfortable, as well as all of the other gear like face shields, alcohol wipes, no-touch infrared thermometers. And all of their prices are very reasonable. I also love S&H Masks because they've donated over 60,000 masks to healthcare institutions. They're an excellent company. Shipping is just $5 and shipping is free on orders over $150. You can get there by going to davidpakman.com/mask. The link is under this video, and you can save 20% on everything in their store when you use the coupon code DAVID.